Where are we, dude?
It appears we have found ourselves in Area 62.
Area 62? What's that?
Mostly a state of mind and being emanating from somewhere within the Mojave Desert, but also a podcast sharing the culture of the high desert, beaming from Copper Mountain College in Joshua Tree. My protocols require me to state that the views you find expressed inside of Area 62 are the personal views of those participating in the podcast, not the official policies or positions of Copper Mountain College or the Copper Mountain Community College District.
Welcome to the first episode of the Area 62 podcast. I'm Steve Brown, and while you'll hear me on this first episode, my goal is to slide into the background on future episodes while Copper Mountain College students take the reins and host and produce the podcast. Area 62 is a Joshua Tree-based podcast produced as a means of connection between the students and college community here at CMC and the greater desert community. Some folks think of the desert as a wasteland, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. The desert is filled with authentic, talented, and insightful residents, some of them even human. It's filled with life and culture and history and beauty, and, well, there's plenty to talk about and share with you. One of the goals for Area 62 is to highlight all the incredible aspects of desert life, to provide opportunities for CMC students, and to provide a platform for the fascinating people who call the desert home. While Area 62 focuses on the Joshua Tree area of the Mojave, just like a roving desert vortex, we'll wander beyond our desert home, across the ancient landscapes of the desert, and even welcome an occasional visitor to the area. In producing Area 62, it is my goal to err on the side of letting those whose voices you hear speak freely and for themselves. If you don't personally connect with what's on one episode, don't worry. You'll have a growing variety of perspectives and personalities to explore as additional episodes beam out into the ether. The content and views expressed on the Area 62 podcast are not the official policies or perspectives of Copper Mountain College, and are the personal views of those participating in each episode. One of the underlying forces of living in the desert is a degree of personal freedom that can lead to greater understanding of varying perspectives. It is my personal hope that you may listen to Area 62 in that spirit. Welcome to Area 62. Hey, so this is Steve with Area 62. This is our inaugural broadcast. And to start things off, I wanted to bring together the crew here at Copper Mountain College that helps me out producing the Cacti Chronicles newspaper. And I wanted to start off, we've got Jeremy, or J-Rod here, who has been with me since the beginning of the Cacti Chronicles, writing stories about the benefits of going to CMC and so forth. And he's also been our weekly radio show host, and he's done some of our voiceover for our radio commercials as well. He's a great guy, and that's Jeremy. I want to bring on Ethan, who is our Cacti Chronicles comic creator, an artist. One of his works is hanging on the walls here in the media studio. Thank you to your grandmother yet again. And then Nayeli. She's our latest contributor, and she's joining us for the next issue of the Cacti Chronicles. And you guys are all students here at Copper Mountain College, which, if you don't know Copper Mountain College, you should. It's in Joshua Tree, and it's a magnificent little college. So we're going to start off this podcast with Jeremy, since he's been here the longest. He's got seniority, J-Rod.
That's right.
All right. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Well, hi, I'm J-Rod, and I like literature. I don't know, I've been published since I was in third grade. When I was in third grade, I published a poem for the Anthropology, and it's still up. You can look at it in college, and I don't know. I guess I've been fascinated with words. I always loved to rap. I used to write raps with my vocab words from school. Yeah, that's how I got this big vocab, even though I sound somewhat, squeaky.
You got a squeaky vocab?
No,
Squeaky.
squeaky voice. No, but I've had a passion for writing since day one. It's like an automatic, I can honestly say. There's so much that the world needs to hear, so much that it needs reminding, and words, paint the picture.
Tears.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well,
That's great.
Yeah, it is great. I've worked with a lot of freelancers and editorial contributors to various publications I've worked with over the years. And I have fired a lot of freelancers because they don't listen to you. They don't get their stories in on deadline, and they don't know how to tell a story. So when Jeremy came to me and he said, I want to write for the paper, it's like, great. I want you to write for the paper. You're welcome to write for the paper. But what he didn't really know is it's a bit of a test too. It's like, are you going to get your story in? Are you going to get it in by deadline? Is it going to be a decent story? So he came to me, submitted the story by deadline, which was a big plus. I was always like, okay, he's paying attention. And that put him ahead of roughly half of the freelancers I've ever worked with. And then, I looked at the story. There was a lot of grammatical and spelling errors in it. And I went, okay, I can deal with this because I can correct spelling and grammar.
That's because I thought you were gonna move it around or something.
He thought I was going to do his work for him.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna do it for me.
So I looked at that though, and then, but I did a thorough read through, and I went, okay, there's spelling errors, there's grammatical errors, but he's got a coherent storyline and a lot of good information. So it's organized properly, it flows great, and it's got good information as well. So that's pretty solid storytelling when it comes to journalism. Those are at the core of every story that you put out. I can correct grammar, I can correct spelling. What I can't correct for is somebody's inability to write, period, or organize their story so it works. So it turned out, though, he told me that he wrote it on his knees, your laptop on your knees, sitting in the ER waiting room
For 7 hours.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
Wow. You know how hard it was to concentrate with crying babies and
I've been in that ER waiting room, and you know what? There is no place I would rather not be, pretty much, than in the ER waiting room or in the ER in general. So I was impressed because you got it in on time. You had a great story, and you managed to pull it off under really trying circumstances, and I was really proud of that. So
Thank you.
That's why you got your Associated Press style book and all that other good stuff. So talk a little bit more about, first of all, what was this business about poetry?
Well, I made a poem for my class and when I was a little kid going to Deanza Elementary in Hemet, California. Shout out Hemet. But in third grade, I made a poem about my mom. They liked it so much that they gave it to the Riverside Anthropology, and they printed my poem, and then they gave it to me. So I even looked for it on the internet, and I found it. It was pretty good. So I do like poems, rap, stuff like that. I rap for fun, not trying to get famous. I just like to do it for fun.
Wait, just to interject really fast, what did your mom say?
About the poem?
Yeah.
She loved it. She started crying.
Is it framed?
No, it's actually, I still have the book. It's in my room.
She didn't love it enough. I'm just kidding.
I'm
That
sure
is
she
so
did.
sweet, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, even though,
Way to go, Jeremy.
yeah, when I did it, I was like, wow, that's good. But now I'm like, you know what? I should have put this in there, that in there. Artist is his worst critic.
Yes.
True.
But yeah, so I got my vocab from my vocabulary homework, and I used to rap them together to help me memorize them.
You got a Cacti Chronicles rap?
Shoot, I can. I'll make one up right now.
Oh,
freestyle?
gee.
Freestyle.
Oh, gee.
All right, Ethan, you're gonna, provide the rhythm.
Oh yeah, serious one. I'm gonna go right now. Will.
Beatbox? Yeah, man, let's do it.
Okay. I'm in the Cactus Chronicles. I'm something like Narnicle. I'm the honor roll coming down with the strongest flow. I'm so cold, so bold. Come up, man, I'm never on toad. Can't tell me nothing. Keep on frontin'. Use a football and I be punting. Kicking you across the street, bounce the meat. Don't with me. I'm sorry to cuss, but that's just how it was.
Oh my
All
god.
right.
Dude, on the spot. Chills. Good job.
Yeah,
I'm
There's some
nervous.
To both of
talent
you.
there, man. There's some
Thank you.
talent. All right.
Yeah, just doing it for fun. I like to make people laugh, and I do jokes with the raps and
Yeah.
stuff. I've never thought about it seriously, but I want to be a journalist seriously. I can see myself in the foxholes with the Marines, them defending my life, keeping me away from stray bullets, while I make them laugh and hear their version of what's going on in the war.
Yeah, I got invited to go with them to Afghanistan, but my wife said no.
I would
She
too.
pointed out that my life insurance policy was null and void if I went to a war zone. So, whatever that means, there you have it. But I'm kind of curious though. I mean, why do you really want to be a journalist? I mean,
Well, I want to be a journalist because I want to be able to show people the proof of what's in the pudding, I want to be able to contribute to society. I want to be able to have people like the written word, I want them to understand. I want them to see my point of view, which is this and that, whatever it might be, but I just got to shout out Black Lives Matter.
should we bring on Ethan for a little
Yeah, let's
bit?
bring on Ethan.
Yeah, we'll get back to you though, because there's a lot of story to your story. Ethan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Steve, first of all, I'd like to say to all my public viewers out there, and I hope I'm not violation of copyright just by saying this from another studio, but hello, Morongo Basin and visitors around the world. But I'm not Gary Danielle.
Oh, no.
I'm Ethan Ocampo, speaking from Steve's Cacti Chronicle studio right here in Copper Mountain College. So, yes, Steve, just to begin for what you were saying. So, I'll tell you a bit about myself. So, pretty much, I am a cartoonist. I like to draw comic books. I like to create like little comic strip, little cartoons for the newspaper. And I remember that I've made 2 comic strips for you already throughout the past year of 2023. And I must say, I had a lot of fun drawing, and I really, really appreciate the experience that I'm learning for what I'm just doing right there, sitting in my, I like to say my break room and my bedroom, more likely, just drawing with my comic board and just thinking some creative ideas on what should I draw out here for the community, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Who are some of your inspirations? Because I know you have inspirations and aspirations, both, and you also have a pretty slick bow tie on today. You do not, you don't conform, which is, I think, fantastic, because too many people are trying to be something that they're not, or they're keeping themselves from being who they really are. And you've just decided to just dive in and be you. And
That's correct.
Ultimately, I think that's sometimes a very hard path to follow.
It is a hard path.
But I also think,
especially when you're bullied a lot.
yeah, you know what? All I want to do is make sure that everybody knows that when you get out of high school and you come to a college, you're not here as a little kid anymore.
That's correct.
You are not here to pull junior high level stunts.
That's what's
You're
happening.
here as an adult, and we have codes of conduct for our students, staff, faculty,
And-
or other people that are on campus.
And-
We're just not going to have that.
Yeah, and that's what's actually happening with me lately, but I like to keep it personal. I don't want to, like I said, there are these two clowns already after me, but I don't pay attention to them, but they did some bad stuff. But
What?
it's
Okay.
fine.
That's just not acceptable,
Yeah,
though.
I
Talk-
know. It is
Ethan.
not acceptable. Even
Ethan.
Jeremy knows.
Yeah. Ethan, talk about how creative you've gotten in your cartoons. What gives you the inspiration?
Well, I like to answer what Steve actually told me just a moment ago. I would love to share my 3 biggest inspirations. So I have 3 inspirations, and I've said this once before that last year, and I would be so happy and certain to share those inspirations once again this year. So my 3 inspirations are pretty much people who are no more alive, but they are very creative geniuses, and I felt so inspired for all the work they've done to share throughout this whole country in the United States, especially here in California, in Hollywood, in Burbank, and Anaheim, and those places. So my 3 biggest inspirations are the all-time animator giant legends. They're the classical, well-known, famous animators: Walt Disney, William Hanna, Joe Barbera, and Chuck Jones. So yeah, those are my 3 inspirations I like to share about. And to answer your question too, Jeremy, I have been doing a lot of creative work lately. And right now I'm trying to get to the deadline, but I'm doing all I can. I'm putting a lot of effort, a lot of creative thinking into my next comic for the paper. And I'm really getting it there. I'm putting my pencil in. I have my light box. I have my drafting table, and I'm just brainstorming all these ideas that I could just think of. And I just keep thinking over and over, thinking, okay, is this going to be good? What is this character going to say? What is that character going to say? Where is the background? Where's the story going to take place? Where's the story going to take place? Is it going to be on campus? Is it going to be at the national park? Is it going to be, I don't know, in Palm Springs, anywhere?
I have a question for you, if I can cut in.
Sure.
I just forgot it. I just forgot it. Oh.
I'm
It's all right.
sorry. It'll come back.
No. When you're doing your cartooning or drawing, anything creative that you like to do, did you study any of it? Or does it just come naturally out of you?
It comes
question.
naturally out of
How
me.
old were you when you started?
6.
Wow.
I
Do you
was
still
6.
have some of that? Old work?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
You still have some of your old work?
Oh, yes. I have a whole storage of work. Trust me.
Sweet.
I've even created, I did not say this here, but I did say this at another event that I went to. I did share this with somebody at the Yucca Valley Film Festival with, what was his name? Matt Buoyce, but not directly to him, with a podcast woman by the name of Chloe Malace. I did told her this, and I really thought I would never release this to the world, but I think it's good that I release it so it could just be out of my head already. I've made 41 fan fiction novels. but not real novels, but they are out of notebooks of a lot of characters that weren't actually mine, but I just felt I just wanted to draw all those characters I was so influenced, so inspired by. And because of all those things I did, I never knew that once I got into high school, from elementary through middle school and there, it would change my life for me to think things like I've put all those pieces together and I found out who I am, what I want to do in life. And I just realized, like I told that woman last year, that I've drawn so many of those famous characters such as SpongeBob, Bugs Bunny, Mario, a lot of those characters, Sonic the Hedgehog, almost a lot of them, you name it. And I told to her that, well, if I cannot draw other people's famous characters, then why not why not create my own and be like them? I told those words to her. And yes, from there, I started making my own characters, and I'm already having 2 big secret projects under the works. And I did share them with Steve the past year. And he knows that too, as a matter of fact.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really loved, of course, is that you're not only, okay, so if coming from the perspective of the editor of a newspaper, you met deadline, you provided what you were supposed to provide, but you also were really invested in it. And you really take it to heart and you really do your best. And
it is true.
I absolutely love that. I think, people think of you as being like a cartoonist, but then I look at this work that you've done that's hanging on the walls here and I go, there's a lot of depth to this guy here. He's able to transcend, these, kind of 2-dimensional realms.
Yeah.
With his artistic spirit. And I really appreciate that and enjoy that. I enjoy the heck out of it. And, the absolute favorite thing for me, working here at Copper Mountain College is working with the students. I mean, that's the absolute hands down favorite thing that I have in my job. And if I could just do that all the time, I think I probably would, because I just get so much from you guys. And I don't know. I learn a lot from you guys. I really appreciate, you guys have not had easy lives to go through. And we can get into that as much as you want to. But the fact is that you're here despite the challenges that you have had. And you're making something of yourselves. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm really happy to see that happening. And, the more we can do with that, the better. So, should we bring on the newbie?
Yep,
Yeah.
let's switch it to the newbie.
You're on the grill.
On the air.
Well, first off, I just want to say that I'm really humbled to be surrounded by these gentlemen. Steve, Ethan, who I just met today, actually, and Jeremy. Being around you guys has definitely not only humbled me, but given me a fresh perspective on what it's like to work with men, I guess.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Only
Where's
because...
Let's not get cheeky.
No, no.
Please not.
In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way, because, first coming in as a really small female into a male dominant space, I want to be myself and I want to be able to keep up with you guys.
All right.
But you guys really do provide a really calm, chill environment, and I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
One
I
thing I
appreciate that.
One thing I noticed is that you actually know what you're doing. So, like, you've done this before or something. And you got the...
You're so funny. No, well, you guys, I'm learning a lot from you guys and all of the experience that you guys have already put in to working with Steve and for the college and even your prior experience. I'm really honored. So, a little bit about me, though. I'm from Palm Springs. I moved up here to join the love of my life, and I'm just having a good time finding myself out in the high desert. I assumed all desert would be the same, But this desert, there's nothing quite like it. And I was reading the Pioneer Town newspaper. I think it's called the Pioneer Gazette. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Pioneer Town Gazette.
There
yes.
you go. And it was incredible. I loved it. And what I noticed, though, is that it was all dated from older archives. It was all 1930s, 40s writing. And I thought to myself, okay, these journalists knew what they were doing because it sounds so timeless. I only figured it out and looked at the day after because it said that they were just planning a new music festival out in the Coachella Valley. And I was like, what? This weekend? What?
Who'd do that?
Yeah, I know. And
I
I found
say.
out it was way long ago. But other than that,
Are you speaking of Coachella Fest
yeah, I think it was regarding Coachella Fest.
or Stagecoach? Most likely.
I don't
Coachella.
know. Yeah, maybe.
Coachella came first,
Okay.
but I Coachella is somewhat, well, I'm sure they would dispute this at Golden Voice, but in the Coachella Valley, they were known, at least back when they began to be popular, they were known to be quite stingy with their press passes. So things like things would happen, like the Desert Sun wanted to send out a reporter and a photographer to cover the event, and Golden Voice would only give them one press pass. And it's like, how are we supposed to have a photographer and a reporter there? But
That wasn't the priority, I guess.
no, I guess not. But when they started Stagecoach, they were very generous with press passes, and so I covered the first two,
Nice.
and it was a lot of great.
What do you know?
A lot of great artists down there. Yeah,
That's incredible.
but
Ooh.
yeah, but Blake Shelton didn't come that time, and I was sad. But
Next time.
next time. But yes, please tell us some more about yourself, though. Have you been writing much?
Yeah, I actually have diaries and journals from when I was like 5, I think.
And
So-
you're what, like 18 now?
I'm 23.
Okay. Everybody looks young to me.
Same age as me.
Getting old.
But I've always had a natural inclination towards writing. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because I was reading young too. So then it made me want to write my own stories, or just it was a therapeutic practice for me when I didn't even know what the purpose was. It just came out of me and it flowed. And I've realized that the older and older that I gotten, that's been the most consistent thing in my life. And I'm really grateful for it. So now being able to find an outlet, an additional outlet, I have my personal ones at home, but being able to be surrounded by other people who share that similar joy and passion, I'm really excited to see all of the stuff that we're going to be able to produce together and to learn from you, because the few stories that I've heard from you, I just want to pick your brain. And I'm sure so many people would love to hear more about your experiences.
Whose brain do you want to pick?
Yours, Steve. I mean, everyone's.
There's not much left.
Okay. What a coincidence.
Right, but I mean, I would love to hear more about what type of advice you would give for aspiring journalists, not only in this room but outside
Find a
of it.
well-paying career.
What does that look like in journalism? Like, what pathway do you think?
Oh, propaganda these days. Yeah,
no.
selling your soul essentially
No.
pays well in
Oh,
journalism.
gosh.
Well, one of the problems that I think you're gonna encounter, because I learned a lot. I've been a journalist for I'm gonna say somewhere over 40 years, and one of the things that I've learned is that a great many people say that they want to know the truth about something or everything, but a great many of those people don't really want to know the truth. They want to hear or read or see stories that reaffirm what they already believe.
So true.
And I learned that very well over the years by people that took strenuous issue to the point of sometimes threats with stories that I had written. and had well documented. I mean, I had no reason for bias. I was just reporting. But if you report things that they don't want to hear, they don't want to hear it.
And they let you know.
They do let you know. I believe a lot of people like to pick on the people on the right for being really heavily biased. I have found there's plenty of bias to go around for everybody on all sides. And if you try to be a decent journalist, you're trying to walk that line between partisanship, between even your own individual bias. You try to keep that in check, because if you're writing news, you're trying to be objective and you're trying to be accurate.
Get the facts out.
And I had one story that I fondly remember where the head of the Democratic Party in the Coachella Valley called me up and said, the party's not going to like that story. And I just said, well, I'm sorry, but last I checked, the party doesn't sign my paycheck. And if you don't want me to write stories about stupid things that people in the party do, don't do stupid things. And it's just that way all the way around. I mean,
how unacceptable.
But what it does is it winds up where politics, internal politics especially, can play a huge role in things. Like, you even have to, on a national level, you have to look at say the White House press corps. If you as a reporter are a problem for the media relations people in the White House during the press briefings, and you ask too hard of questions or put them on the spot too much, you may not have your White House press credential renewed. If you don't have your White House press credential renewed, you may not be able to continue working for one of the big name news organizations that hired you to cover the White House. So what do? You play the game.
Sugarcoat it all.
Yeah. And, I'm kind of old school. I don't think we should be sugarcoating things. I think we should hold people accountable, especially when it comes to other people's lives, their money, their futures, their families, that sort of thing. I think all that stuff is important. But that's one of the things that you guys are going to find out as journalists, and you get out into the field. It happens on every level, local to national to international. You're going to find that when you write something that people don't want to hear, those particular people are going to let you know. They're not subtle.
So would you say that most successful journalists, what would make a successful journalist is somebody who's got a moral compass, that's, got an obligation for justice and truth, and they might find a lot of trouble during that?
Oh my. Well, see, okay, so one of the things I love about this college is that you guys are here to be successful in whatever way you view success. Okay. And we're here to help facilitate that. But we don't want to define success for you. We want you to define your own personal success. It's going to look different for every individual, every student. And so we really just want to see you live up to your potential and to take it wherever you can. And hopefully it's a good ride and a lot of great stories come out of it. I don't know if having a moral compass will make you a successful journalist.
Yeah, but you're right though when you said
I think it'll make I think it'll make you feel like you're being an authentic, a real journalist.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there that are pretending, and their morals blow which way the wind is blowing all the time, and they make a lot of money doing that.
They are frauds.
Well, again, they would look at you from their $6 million a year salaries and benefits and say, who's the fraud here, buddy? It just depends on how you view things. But you wanted to be a journalist.
Right.
And you have a moral compass.
Right.
Right. So I guess for me, I just want you to be aware of the pitfalls
Yeah.
and then as well prepared as possible to go out there. Just be realistic. You are inevitably going to run into conflicts at certain points in time just for reporting as accurately and as objectively as possible. And that's just how it goes. But
Sounds good.
you can do
Thanks.
it. You can do it. And you might have some fun. I mean, who knows? You might get your own letter from the FBI.
Right. I
Right.
can't wait for the day.
If you don't get a letter from the FBI, it's like you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to see my file, man. I want to see my file. So you guys have all had different journeys to get here to Copper Mountain College. And from what I am aware of, you guys have gone through some serious stuff to get here.
Oh, yes.
And-
I'm one of those.
Yeah. Well, so let's start with you, Ethan. Do you want to talk a little bit about your journey to Copper Mountain College and some of the experiences that you've gone through and challenges?
Well, if it's fine with you, Steve, I would like to hear Jeremy's story first.
Oh,
I mean, I like how we do it in a circle.
oh, okay.
I think it's
I mean,
more creative. I don't know.
You know, I mean, Jeremy, when you came to me, you told me that you had some work experience previously writing for paper, and then you told me it was a prison paper.
Yeah, that's me. I did 9 years. I did 9 years in prison, violent crime. The said all that's gone. You know, I'm good. I made it out. I found religion, and God helped me not to push it on anybody. And you know, just a crazy point in my life. I was still a teenager. I was like, oh, what a world, what a world. You know, and then I had to grow up in prison. You know, I had to like really check myself and understand, okay, don't lose your life over a girl this time.
Yeah, I think pretty much having been a teenage male myself at one point in time, I think I would pretty much have all teenage males classified as insane. I don't know if it's just hormones and lack of mental acuity or no wisdom whatsoever to be found anywhere. But yeah.
What's interesting about that is that the government passed laws saying they passed a law saying people who under the age of 23, their brain wasn't fully developed, so they reduced their sentences across the board.
Wow.
All right.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, we can fight for our country, but we can't smoke cigarettes or drink beer. We can vote at least, but there's so much on the table that they're leaving out. Back, you know, I'll just go back to me real quick. So yeah, writing is actually therapeutic for me. So I like to listen to people's talking and like see what kind of vocab they have, and you know, even though I don't like to do a lot of fancy talking, I like to listen.
And you watch TikTok too, evidently, because you seem to get some of your news from TikTok. And
Yeah.
I'll use news with quotation marks around it.
Yeah, TikTok's the most reliable source nowadays.
Like it's accessible.
Reliable. I know what I was saying. I was trying to
right?
get you to laugh again.
Oh, well, I've heard that same perspective from a lot of people. My mom, for example, she's always like, oh yeah, that's where the real deal is, because it's a lot of people and their real experience. So people who are posting videos from Gaza, let's say, or, you know, places like that where there's not a lot of media coverage from official sources, that's valid. I'll agree there on that point for sure.
And I'll toss in just as an editor and journalist that a lot of that reporting is superb. It's excellent because it's providing you with raw information that you would not otherwise have. Now, that doesn't mean that it should be the end of where a real journalist reports. You want to go and take the first person accounts of what's happening on the ground, and then you want to look at why is this happening? How is it happening? You know, what's the extent of it?
Where is it happening?
Where is it happening? And the mechanics behind it, the politics behind it, and all of that. Because, of course, there's multiple levels of story there. And so you want to be the ones that get the chance. Those people that are out there documenting a war in real time do not have the luxury of diving deep into the topic. They're trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
Or maybe even deal with some horrible loss of their own. A lot of Al Jazeera journalists have lost their entire families.
Tragic.
Yeah,
Tragic.
It's not good. But in your case, if you're removed from that, you can turn to that source material and then build upon that. And there's some really great work that's being done right now with that.
Yeah.
Now, you went through, I mean, you talked about being in prison, but you went through a lot while you were in prison, and you came out of there. Now, how did you come out of all of that and then decide, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to make something of myself, I'm going to build a career, I'm going to go forward with my life and do something really positive? I mean, that's a, complete turnaround.
Huge.
And
Well-
it's impressive.
Well, I came out of prison, and then I was like, well, I have nothing. I'm starting from ground zero, and I'm like, education is where to go. So I signed up for Copper Mountain College. Shout out Copper Mountain College. Area 62 loves you. And then I basically just seen myself, and I'm like, I want to do better. I don't want to steal. I don't want to kill. I don't want to sell drugs. None of that. I want to be a professional.
Amen.
I want to be. I want to be somebody that looks like an average Joe. That's why my tattoos they're all hidden and
Did you get your tattoos in prison?
yeah.
Quick question. Another quick question. Did you find God in prison?
Yes, I did.
How did that go
Wow.
for you?
Well,
Tell us more.
okay, well, actually, it's a crazy story. I was in county jail waiting for my fighting my case, and then I got jumped there. It was like a big old riot. They threw me off the tier, broke my back, and then I didn't
I'm
wake.
so sorry.
I did 3 months in a coma. Woke up at the hospital. Have a feeding tube. I'm gonna have a feeding tube and a tracheotomy. I was doing bad, and then I heard a song coming on, and then I just woke up, and then everybody was shocked. They're already at West Valley, the county jail. They're already trying to pull the plug. They're like, he's gone. But the Lord helped me, and then I just never forgot him. I told him, if you save me, keep me safe in prison, I'll never forget you. And I don't, because I'm like, I don't want to spit in the Lord's face. And
That is so sweet. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I was not ready for all that. I'm a little emotional.
He's got a real story.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think you two. I don't know about you,
about
but
me?
as far as your spiritual grounding, but I think these two gentlemen have a pretty strong spiritual grounding that really plays a significant role in their outlook on life. And I just don't know you well enough to know what yours is.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have one. You
I
have a
do.
moral and ethical grounding.
I do. I would like to think, right? And I hope it shows, but I totally see the Holy Spirit in these two gentlemen.
Amen.
You as well, Steve.
Oh,
But yeah, I do
Praise God.
have exactly. I have a newfound relationship with God. I grew up not really in church. My parents weren't really big with church, but I spent a lot of my youth renouncing God because, back then I was immature and I didn't know any better. And I thought that, I could figure life out on my own. And why would the world be so ugly if God exists? So clearly God doesn't exist. And God put a lot of trials in my path so that I could find him and rely on him. I have had a couple of run-ins with death. I was held up at gunpoint once. I was almost kidnapped once. I was in a horrible car wreck where I flipped over 6 lanes, hit 3 cars, hit a tree, ended up in my back seat.
I'm sorry,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
Yeah, like there's been a lot of
That's terrible.
stuff that's happened in my life where every time I came out unscathed, and I just was wondering, why am I still here? I had a lot of depression growing up too, which is why writing was just a natural resource for me. And when I look back at my old journals, it's a huge shift from going to, how am I going to say bye to my family? I can't do this anymore, to just praising God, writing gratitude after gratitude. And it just, it makes me a little emotional. But definitely my turnaround point was when I came to the desert. I met my husband. I often accredit him to why I found God, just because, man, I wish everybody could meet this guy. He really represents Christ in such a strong way where it was just natural for me to feel Christ through him. And I'm really, really lucky I get to call that guy my partner. So just a quick shout out to him because he's awesome. And when I found Christ, that's when my life completely changed. So it just brings me so much joy to be around other people who've had similar experiences, because I know what it's done for me. Praise God that other people know that feeling. So yeah, that's just a quick little thing about me.
That was good. That was great. But yeah, I'd like to remind everybody that's listening that CMC is not a private Christian institution. We welcome all denominations, all beliefs, and
all creeds.
ethnicities.
Everybody's welcome.
Everybody, actually. You know, that's what makes this campus great, though, is because we've got everybody coming from all sorts of different directions and perspectives, and
So good.
from all sorts of experiences in life. And, you know, I think that just makes it all the more richer of an environment. And we want everyone to succeed, and we want everybody to feel welcome here. And I think that's one of the coolest things you can have, is just like a little place that's like a safe place for everybody. And bring your personality, be your authentic you.
Truly.
And come out here, because, you know, a lot of creativity can grow in the desert. A lot of good stories grow out here. And Ethan, tell us a little bit more about your story.
Well, what do you want me to tell you in specific?
Specific. I don't want to micromanage your life story.
Well,
I
everyone-
don't know it nearly as well as you do.
Well, everyone here is talking about like their past. So
Yeah.
do I need to talk about my past, or
You
do
don't
I need-
have to. You can. You can tell us whatever you'd like. But I mean, let's get to know Ethan Ocampo a little bit more in depth. I mean, you know, there's the man, the myth, the legend. You
Well,
know.
I will share you this, and since everyone has shared their past stories, I'll be happy to share mine. Well, so the handsome gentleman I am today, I wasn't always this way.
And humble too.
Yeah, I wasn't always this way, you know.
Right.
You know, as a kid, I was so immature, you know, I would mess around here and there in elementary. But then as I got into middle school, I noticed that's where I started to change as I got into my teenager years. And I felt like where I started to change more likely is when I met my my second girlfriend. You know, after she hurt my feelings and left me for another person, I just felt like I just need to change. Like, how did I even fell for this trap? I like to call it. It's like a battle between a cat and a mouse. So, yeah. So, I went through a couple of different stages in life, and I'm from a family that not everybody's Christian, of course. But I'm very proud of myself and very lucky that I was lucky enough to have Christian grandparents who always were there for me since birth. And they took me to church, but the only thing that I don't like what they did, but it's okay. Everybody has their ways, especially when you're a child and you have to follow your mom and dad when everywhere, and you cannot go wandering off yourself. And same thing with my grandparents. Like, they would take me to church, But since we're from a Latin American heritage, they would take me to a Spanish church instead of an English church. And I can't even understand what the preacher's saying. And now in these days, I tell to them, I'm born in an English country. And all my friends, most people here, they speak English. And I tell them, don't get me wrong, that I need to be more around people who speak my language, and I don't have trouble understanding other people. So, yeah, but I have nothing against my grandparents, and I'm very proud that they were always for me in my life and for my sister and my brother. And I just really thank them for them even agreeing with my decisions to come to this campus, for agreeing for me to work for you, Steve. That was even the biggest surprise, and also permitting me to go follow my dreams when they could just put me to do what they want me to do, which I totally object. So I'm glad that I've come such a long way. And going back to my school side, other than my family side, is that I went through a lot in high school. The high school years were the worst years of my life. I think college here in Copper Mountain are going to be the best years. I know it. I even feel it. It's because in high school, I had a lot of terrible situations going on. I was under a lot of depression. I had a lot of trauma in my mind going on. And I even had a third girlfriend that I thought she was going to be the one, but she blew me off big time. And actually, the scary thing about that third girlfriend is that I remember one time I was at the gym outside, and it was in the high school, of course, and I was just right there just trying to cool down. And she came and she tried to push me off these big stairs, and I could have broken my spine. But luckily, I grabbed on the bar and I took my ground, and I told her, I had enough of you. We're done. We're done. But besides that, today I'm happily single. I'm still waiting for the one to come, and my time will come that I will meet her. But other than that, like I said, I went through a lot of severe bullying. I had threatening text messages saying, come to the bathroom, and I ignored those messages, and a lot of terrible things. My friends, they betrayed me. They would leave me for other friends, and they say, I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know you. Get lost. A lot of those messed up things. They do that to me. I was even spit on by a lot of people. Slapped too. Even my hat was stolen. Actually, I remember even in the locker rooms at the PE, someone stole my glasses, and they were good glasses. So it was literally just jacked up. It was just so jacked up.
That is just so uncool, man.
Yeah.
Stealing somebody's glasses,
Yeah.
stealing their hat.
Yeah.
How did you deal with all of that going on at such a young age?
You
And
wanna
how do you
know
feel
how?
now about it?
Well, because I'm from a good family. That's why. Not perfect though, but I like I said, I grew more close to my grandparents than my mom. But I love my mom no matter what. But I lived more with my grandparents most of the years, and I've learned a lot from them. Now, thank God they're not fully Spanish. I mean, they talk bilingual. But it's the churches that they take me to why I have a problem with them, because the churches they take me to is full Spanish. But they taught me a lot of importances of what it's like to be a good person in life, how to be responsible for your boss, how to be kind and compassionate to your friends and to other people. And not just only that, but for me, this is, I know, really personal, but I like to share this. So to answer your question, how I survived all those messes and trials and abuses that I went through is because I have the Lord in my life. That is why, because I served a God who I knew since I was very young, actually. I had given my life to the Lord since I was 7 or 6 years, because my grandma told me to do that, and I actually listened to her because I felt something in my mind to do it. And from there, it took me through a lot in elementary. It took me through a lot in middle school. And high school was the worst of all of them. It was the worst of the worst. And I'm glad that my high school years are long over. And because of all that severe bullying that I went through, especially that severe bullying, there were even like at least five people, tall people, strong guys, that they wanted to beat the shit out of me. And that's why I had to go to K-12 throughout my junior year and senior year, And even still to this day, even if I'm in Copper Mountain, I'm still going online. But I'm actually right now in a class in person right now. But I'm here not because I chose to come. I'm here because I had some advice from people from the EOPS program that I'm actually serving them, that they say, Ethan, I know you're always like to be online, but you need to come in person so you could pass this course that you're going through right now. And yes, I'm in a really hard class right now, and I hope I will pass it by a miracle. And if not, well, I know I tried my best. And to me, this class right now is a rematch of last fall. I'm taking a hard class right now that it's actually called statistics. So I hope I get out of there.
But it's still the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. So yeah, and
Calculus,
and
geometry.
one big accomplishment,
Anything math.
and anything math, because I'm an artist. But one thing I'm so happy for that I'm here is that I felt like I made so many accomplishments too, because I've been here for already 3 years, and I felt like my biggest accomplishments is winning like probably 6 or 7 awards, probably even more, and I got a 4.0 GPA.
Congrats.
Sweet.
And the best one
Congrats.
out of all of them is now I met my buddy Steve over here and my first real companion, Jeremy, my real friend. And actually, what I'm more happy is that, like I said, is that I got the job like a year ago to be what I want, to be a cartoonist. And to tell you the truth, and I told this to my grandma too, I never knew I would get this job here in college. I thought I wouldn't get this until I graduate from here, or maybe when I go to university later. But I'm very blessed that, Steve, you gave me that job, and I'm very grateful. And I don't care about the paycheck. You could give it to me, though, but it's the job that I care about.
take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I care about the job, but that's all I want. And yeah.
You know,
and
you-
I'm here with all of you for another show. So it's good to be here.
And it's great to have you here.
Yeah.
You you all are working for an award-winning publication now. You realize that. I was at the CC Pro conference recently in Santa Cruz,
Yeah.
which is a conference of all the California Community College public relations and marketing and public information officers, that sort of stuff, all the personnel that works in this area from all 116 colleges. And the Cacti Chronicles took home the first place award for newspaper magazine category.
Shout out us.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh
And-
my gosh.
yeah, I mean, so I'm proud of what you guys have contributed and what you're going to be contributing very
can't
shortly. And, real quick, like what's your favorite thing about CMC, Jeremy?
Honestly, it's the environment. It's like the teachers, the professors want you to pass. They're not trying to make you fail. As long as you do the required work and study, you do the homework, you should be pretty confident you're gonna pass. I do like the many people who say hi to me. I like the greetings. I like to say hi to people, and I like to think that I got a lot of friends out here. Before I wanted to say I'm from a family of 7. I have 4 other siblings, and they're all doing something good, and let's cut that out.
So you're from a family.
I'm from a family of headhunters.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Deja vu.
All right. Well, that if you're from a family of headhunters, then I know exactly how I'm casting you in my wailing rap song based on Moby Dick, because there's a headhunter in there. All right.
No, I just, I know. I just like Copper Mountain College because there's so much activities here. There's so a close-knit, family-oriented kind of place. And I gotta say, everybody, if you want to do better, if you're tired of saying, would you like fries with that, Copper Mountain College is the way to go, especially in Joshua Tree. Remember, keep Mojave weird.
Ethan, how about you? What's your favorite thing?
Well, what I like about CMC is that I find it to me to be another open door, another great opportunity, because when I left high school, I thought that I was pretty much at a crossroad. I looked at 2 pathways. One, I saw college, and the other way I saw life. So I thought, well, I'm glad I have another option. So I made my decision to come this way, because to tell you the truth, if there were no other option, it would have been more harder for me to do my career. So I find CMC to be an opening opportunity for me and an open door. And I like that in this campus they offer so many different type of opportunities here and there, and different programs, different events. And that's what I truly appreciate about coming to campus and knowing that there's another option. So that way you wouldn't be pretty much the guy that you have to be forced to go to the workforce, be cleaning toilets or going to McDonald's, working there, or going to Walmart, or working in the fields, the worst thing of all. So I'm so thankful that this campus is out here and it's available to everybody, to all Californians, to all American people. And I'm so glad that I'm granted that opportunity to come here. So that's what I like about college.
All right. How about you, Naheli?
Oh man, I feel like coming up third, I just want to ride on your guys' coattails. But I'm going to agree with the faculty just being one of a kind. Everybody here makes me feel like they want my success just as much as I do. And like you were saying, just the community out here, I feel like it's so inspiring and refreshing to see people embrace themselves. I get this vibe out here where people aren't really afraid to just show up and be bold and confident in whatever that means for them. And it makes me really happy to feel like the culture here is really accepting. Like you said, keep Mojave weird. I'm all about it. It's a good place to be. I'm really grateful compared to other places I've been. But this really does feel like it was meant for everyone. And all of the programs that they offer, it's almost impossible to fail here. Really. If you want it, you're going to get it.
I totally agree with you.
Agreed.
That's my piece.
When it comes to the programs here, there's so many programs. College can basically be free. Not free, but basically,
As close as humanly possible, really.
As close as humanly possible. And you're going to get your money's worth, you know. They actually have the tutoring center. They have the computers, the laptop, the student center to get jobs.
They have the EOPS program.
They have access. Shout out Jen Baker. Say hi, everybody except for Jen. Sorry, inside. I'm sorry, that's an inside joke.
Oh, my. Oh, Jeremy. Wind him up and let him go. See what happens. Okay. By the way, Ethan, your grandma rocks. She's cool.
Well, I thank you.
Yeah. Your grandma's
Grandmas are great.
And
she's
about
great.
her,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so sorry that she cannot make it today.
Yeah.
Because if she were, she would be able to film all of us right now.
well, no, I just knock you off the mic and put her on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's because she's doing my mom an urgent favor right now, so that's why she couldn't make it. But I'm glad that I was able to make it to this big next interview, because otherwise you would see nothing but a ghost right here. And I told her, I'm sorry, but I need to go. This is another opportunity for me.
Well, I'm glad you made it, because I'm glad I got all three of you here.
Yeah.
Because of course this is the inaugural episode of Area 62, the podcast, beaming to you from Copper Mountain College in Joshua Tree, California, out in the weird Mojave. And hopefully this is going to be the first of many podcasts. I want all you guys to be as involved as possible. And
Definitely.
of course, we've got Kay and a few others that want to be involved as well. And we're going to be dragging on artists, musicians, writers, historians, you name it, from the desert. If you are not familiar with the concept of Area 62, Area 62 is, of course, if you follow California State Route 62 up into the high desert. That's HI, by the way, not high, HIGH. You can tell all the new residents, they keep trying to correct our spelling, but it was actually developed as high desert, HI, because Lancaster and Palmdale and that whole area north of Los Angeles was already known as the high desert. And so we're clearly nowhere near them. We don't want, people to be confused. And we thought, the people out here at the time thought it would be nice to say high desert, like HI, and have it be kind of welcoming, like hi.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Did you know?
I didn't know that.
Did you know that
Wow.
Joshua trees were named by Mormons?
Yep, because the Mormon Battalion actually went wandering through California quite a bit. And there's a whole big story behind that. And
Wow.
I've walked on some of the trails that they've walked on. And
I actually knew a friend of mine who's actually from that kind of branch, I like to say. And actually, I just reunited with him this Monday. So
Nice.
if you don't mind, hi, Luke. It's your friend, Ethan. If you're listening,
FYI, we're not a religious podcast, but
No.
we do have morals, and that's what I like to. That's what I like
we're
to
totally
believe.
in the world here.
Yeah, that's what I like to
Yeah.
believe. Like there's a bunch of different religions, right? And
Yeah.
they're fighting over it. There's war, but shouldn't we all just stand back and say, well, at least we have a moral compass? Shouldn't we band together and make some kind of one world government?
Oh man.
oh,
If
you're
only-
just. I see what you're doing there,
what
Jeremy.
now? Okay.
All right. So we're at the point where Jeremy is going to start going political. So it's probably time to sign off.
Let's not talk about politics here.
Yeah, let's not
This
talk about
isn't-
Jeremy's politics for sure.
Hey,
Yeah,
this
remember,
is
I'm
isn't
the only one going to heaven.
hey, this isn't Washington D.C. here. We're in
No,
California, baby.
I am quite happy that we're not in Washington D.C. I've been there. You go away feeling a little grimy, like you need a bath after you've been hanging around K Street and the congressional offices for a while. But
Won't go.
All right, I guess that's all the time we have for today, right, Steve?
if you say so,
You call it Steve.
it must be true. Plus, I can see that look in Jeremy's eyes that he's going to start up with his whole political thing pretty soon. And so I think we've done what we've come to accomplish or accomplished what we've come to do, or we've done enough. Let's put it that way. All right. We're going to go out with some music, and thank you all for joining us.
I woke Sunday morning, butt crack of dawn. Shimmied out of bed and slipped my best suit on. Hugged my tired dog down the dusty dirt road. Sending virtue on each side, battling for my soul. When I arrived out front of the Tabernacle Church, was a bulldozer at the steps and the preacher shouting verse. Tide was low and so was my soul. Big crumble with every wrecking ball blow. Down came the cross, Jesus sang along. Devil started grinning and I began to shinning. The day that they drug old Jesus down, day that they drug Jesus down. I know I said I would never be misled. The day that they drug Jesus down. Crazy preacher on the pulpit, waving scarecrow on, shooing away the buzzards that picked my soul rise against the bottle and the blade. Fit the bold crow to keep my demons at bay. From your features standing on holy ground, you're the voice from the burning bushes of ministry fell down. The rain was due, but faith did not come through. My strength was shook as I took another load. Day that they drug old Jesus down. Day that they drug Jesus down. High on the cross, but now all is lost. Day that they drug Jesus down. I heard lightning strike. I saw a lone rider galloping through the dark night. It was the Son of God and he sure looked pissed. The final day right and he checked my name off his list. Day that they drug old Jesus down. Day that they drug Jesus down. I know I said I would never be this man. That they drove Jesus down. Day 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 that they drove Jesus down. I know. Said I would never be misled. Day that they drove Jesus down.
Music for this episode of Area 62 was provided by Sean Mafia and the 10 Cent Thrills. Area 62 features desert songwriters and musicians. For more information about Area 62, please visit www.cmccd.edu/campus/marketing/area-62. For more information about Copper Mountain College, please visit www.cmccd.edu.